Welcome to Extra Minutes, the official podcast of West Texas FC. Sponsored by Case Corporate.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the newest episode of Extra Minutes, the official West Texas FC podcast, brought to you by Case Corporate. And Adam, this is not the conversation that I think either of us expected to be having today.
No, we just had the rug pulled out from under us.
Yeah. That Denton team is sharp. Like, that team is really good. I guess you want to just talk, maybe just kind of talk through the game a little bit for anybody who didn't watch it.
So, I mean, if you didn't see last week we showed up to Lubbock, our big rival, played confidently, played hair on fire. If the ball was loose, we were on it within seconds and really controlled the game from about 5 minutes in to the end. This time, we showed up and it just felt like we were a step behind a lot of the time. And as we've talked about, maybe you can chalk that up to Denton having an extra game. I
mean, let's talk about that a little bit, because in a league that lasts basically for a couple months, right? And there's two factors, right? One is that a lot of these guys are actually locals. They're in Denton and, have gotten a lot more play time together just throughout the year because, they're not coming from all over the world like, a team like ours. And then they also have an extra game under their belt. Like, how much do you think and what kind of advantage do you think that gives them?
Well, I mean, soccer is a game of chemistry. Yes, there can be, stars that, dribble through 7 guys and shoot an incredible goal. But especially, I feel like at this level, being able to anticipate where your fellow teammate's going to be, where they like to place it, how they, like to place it, you just get a better feel for the field and where you can put the ball, where you can anticipate. And for our guys, we have guys all over the world. I mean, I don't even know how many countries represented on our team. And like you said, Denton having hometown kids, they have been able to play, they have chemistry, and that really showed to where not only were they were fast. There were a couple guys that were stupid fast.
Yeah, that front line.
But in already having chemistry, that anticipation makes you even faster. And so I think that's what made us look a little bit slower at times. It's not that we are slow. It's not that we are necessarily not as good. It just felt like we were still trying to figure things out at times.
There was a point in the game where I was just trying to figure out why we couldn't get the ball in the first half. Like, we just could not get to it. It seemed like they had more people on the pitch than we did. You know what I mean? It was that thing where it was just like every time we get the ball, they smother us. And, a couple of our touches weren't great. And we kind of left some meat on the bone there for them to come in and take.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there were 2 goals particularly, the first goal and the third goal of Denton's, the free kick where it was right outside the box, and then that third goal where it was a cross-field,
beautiful,
freaking gorgeous pass, and then the way the Denton player turned just on a dime and put it in the top corner. There's not a lot you can do about that, right? Like, when a team is firing like that, you're like, dude, power to you. You have to outscore those teams.
Yeah.
But the combination of their offense at times looked really dangerous, but I think what totally killed us today was their defensive back line.
Oh, yeah. They had an NBA defensive back line.
There was one, we were joking around that guy's going to have a freaking headache after the game because his head was on the ball every time we were trying to get it into the box. That guy was just killing us.
Yeah.
And we would do well, especially I think we had 2 really positive sections of the game. Mm-hmm. There was in the first half when we were 1-0 down, and it felt like we were about to get a goal.
Oh,
It was just like we're about to tie it up.
Right,
This would be
there,
an awesome,
again and again.
Kind of near the end of the first half, it's like, oh, this is going to be a good second half. Like we were already talking about it, like we had scored the goal because it just felt like that's the direction it was going. And then they caught us on the break, got behind our back line, scored a goal on a counter, and just took the wind out of the room, man. Like you could feel the excitement building up, and then when that happened, it was like, everything was gone. And then I thought we came out from half into the second half really strong. I thought we looked like we were about to score again, and we had some pretty scrappy chances. We had a couple of really good, sequences. And then the rest of the second half just felt like it was us mostly in control of the ball, which was good, but we would get within 20 yards or so and just get swarmed. And there were a few times that, it was like the ball's bouncing around and you're kind of like, did it go in? Did it go in? And then there at the very, very, very end of the game, we got a goal back, which felt good. It was just good to see a goal. We had a great crowd here at Buffalo Joe's. I had a thought too while we were watching the game that like every team, whether it be West Texas FC, Austin FC, FC Dallas, all the way up to Liverpool and Manchester City, like at every point in those teams' history, there was a point like this, where they're a smaller team, it's a tight-knit group, everybody knows everybody, and it's such a fun community. Like, how many of those people get to sit down with the owners of the team and eat wings and talk football? Like, watching the game and just going, man, what do you think's happening? And getting to dialogue like that. It was kind of fun that it was like, not many people get this with their team. Oh, yeah. Like the opportunity to do that. And I think that's really fun. And it's such a fun community to be part of.
Absolutely. Well, and this is a perfect time to insert. I wasn't planning on sharing this story, and now I'm going to insert this story because it's one of my favorite parts of the night is, in talking on just being able to, hang out with ownership and everything, and watching the game here in this, in Joe's, ownership leaves to go to the bathroom and we score. And he comes back out and everyone's celebrating and your wife goes, get back in there. She's like, get out of here. And so, I mean, it's fun.
You never want that to be the good luck charm, right? that the owner walks away from the screen. That was funny. I looked at her and I said, did you really just tell the owner to like go away? That's what football fandom will do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just I mean, you never want to be patting yourself on the back after a loss, but I do think there are positives to take away from this. Clearly, there's negatives and things to learn from, and back to the drawing board. But our team never gave up. I mean, it was extra minutes at the end of the game. You're down 2 goals. And, you're down 3 and we score. And then you're down 2 and we still have guys hauling down the field, doing everything they can. I mean, right before the goal, that header to put the ball right in front of the goal. I mean,
right before the header, you see everybody like charging the box, right? Like, I mean, it was like they were going to use every single fume they had left in the tank and put it out on the pitch. And honestly, like, I thought we could have played better. I thought we looked a little sharper against Lubbock, and obviously the weather was bad too, so that's a factor. But I thought that Denton team looked awesome. Like, I thought they looked really good. And as a football fan, you can't win them all, right? And Mama said there'd be days like this. But you never want to see your team give up. I feel like that's the worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we didn't see that tonight. And that's encouraging. And I'm curious what this does mentally for our team, that we go and we get this super high off winning the El Destico game, winning your first game, and then you kind of get humbled a little bit by a really good Denton team. Where does that put you as far as like, you're not invincible. What it feels like to lose. that feeling is horrible.
Yeah.
So you're doing everything to avoid it, and you know what it's like to be on the opposite end, literally the same scoreline.
Yeah.
3-1, 3-1, right? And so does that just kind of set, okay, here's this side of the slider, here's this side of the slider. We have felt the full range, and now we can attack a little bit more sober-minded, a little bit more educated, you know, in what this league is like. And more power to Denton, because they were a good team.
Hats off to them. They were a great team.
Yep.
Yeah, they played well. Passed well. There didn't seem to be any weakness.
Dude, that back line, those center backs, man, they were solid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime there's a little bit of crack, and it's like, finally, just closed. I mean, there were so many times where we were able to kind of sit behind the crowd, and people would, it was like a roller coaster. All right, so we've been saying it the last 2 podcasts, but we will be giving away tickets to our first home game. So make sure and go on social media, your preference of social media, and like the posts, share the post, and in the comments, tell us what clubs you support. Again, hopefully West Texas FC is one of them, and maybe you'll be the one to get the free tickets. And so we'll be reaching out to some lucky individuals here soon with some free tickets. So, yeah.
Do you have another team you support yet?
I jump around a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
You need a Premier League team. We need to get you a Premier League team.
I haven't adopted anyone yet.
We need to.
I watch.
Maybe comment with who Adam should adopt as.
Who should I adopt?
Liverpool.
I do follow Wrexham now because of the show, but that's kind of lame because everyone does it.
And you can't really watch the games either.
That's
it's
true.
like League 12 or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not watching it at 4 a.m. or whatever that is. Yeah,
right.
That's not happening.
No, we need to get you a team.
Yeah, someone with a good colors.
Yeah, good jerseys.
Good jerseys. Yeah.
Good atmosphere. Yeah. So maybe comment who Adam should pick.
Yeah.
Maybe not Premier League. Maybe it'll be Bundesliga or La Liga or
a local 11-year-old team.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I was on the
Dragons.
Andrews Cobras.
Ooh.
You could be Andrews Cobras.
I was a Terminators for a long time. I loved that freaking team.
What color was the jersey?
Red and black. Ooh. Can't beat it.
I like it. Ours were like bright orange.
You were that showy
orange
team.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And it was the 90s, so, we had like a bunch of triangles on it with like a fade.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Man. Looked good. I had bangs, kind of crept over. My mom was a cosmetologist, so.
I had gel combed over parted hair that was like as hard as the ball was. Like I could head that ball, my hair would be perfect still.
It would create buoyancy. Yeah.
Oh man.
So why don't we talk a little bit about some of the scores? So we're recording this on Thursday, so not all the teams have kind of had their second game yet.
Yeah.
But let's go back and just kind of talk about the first week. So the very first game, we talked about this on the last podcast, was Fort Worth versus Denton, and that ended up in a 1-1 draw. For some reason, I had in my head, and I might have even stated on the last podcast that Denton won that game, but it was actually a draw. There was a blocked penalty shot, I remember from the highlights. So that was the first game, right? So then move on to the second week. So only 2 teams played that week. Move on to the second week. We've got Brownsville, last year's champion, versus Austin United FC, who we're playing next week.
Yeah.
Next Saturday. Well, not this next Saturday, but the following Saturday, June 1st. And Brownsville won that game 2-0. So then also Houston FC played Laredo, and Laredo beat Houston 2-0. Then Denton played Fort Worth again, and Denton won 3-1. You're going to see some weird patterns here.
Yeah.
So Denton beats Fort Worth 3-1 after drawing, right? So they came out swinging. Then Lubbock played against us, right? We went 3-1, El Dustico. You remember us winning that game?
Yeah, slightly.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
Let's think back to the good times. And then yesterday, Houston played Austin United FC, and Houston won that game 2-1. So poor Austin United FC does not have a win yet. They have lost 2 out of 2. And our next game is against them.
Yeah.
In between, interestingly enough, they'll play Laredo, and Fort Worth is playing Lubbock. So make sure and check that game out. Kind of see. I'm curious to watch Fort Worth because Fort Worth has played this Denton team twice. And I'm anxious to watch the Austin United game because that's our next game. And Laredo looks to be a pretty good team. So that's kind of what's happening in the league. It's kind of fun because it's easy to follow. There's not a ton of teams. But again, it's a short season, not a ton of teams, which is a negative because obviously we want more soccer. But the positive out of that is that it's really easy to keep up with, right?
Yeah.
When you're watching like MLS and there's like 30 teams or whatever, it's hard to keep up with. This is nice, quick, easy. So that's kind of what's going on in the league.
Yeah, and so hopefully now looking ahead, June 1st, as you said, is our first home game. Hopefully we can turn things around, have a short memory, forget about this loss.
That's our first home game, man. It's going to be a big party.
Absolutely. We finally get to play in front of the blue.
Yeah.
I think finally our team will have a good, solid week of team building, practice, getting to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, tonight's score was a guy who showed up, I think they said yesterday.
I think that's right.
So, I mean,
great header,
it'll
too.
be nice for him to at least learn some names, probably.
Hey, you. That's it.
Yeah. And so, and I mean, I have all the confidence in the world in our coaching staff. And so I think you give them a week to go back, look at the film, and go, okay, what happened? How do we remedy this?
Yep.
And now here's our new opponent. How can we attack them? And you said poor Austin earlier. I'm thinking oh man, I wouldn't want to be in their position right now.
I think we're going to be a little pissed off.
Oh yeah.
And I'm curious, just the fire that Coach David and Coach Scotty are going to light under that team. I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be a reckoning coming, and I'm excited to see it. And make sure that you keep looking at the social accounts and everything, because there is going to be kind of a big tailgate that we do right next to the pitch. And we can kind of come and meet people and get to know one another, man. I've met some phenomenal people from last season that are still friends that turns out I live like a block away from them. And so it's been fun. Like, you can build community in something like this around something as, goofy and fun as football. But at the same time, it's something that we can all get behind and be on the same team and be excited about and something to do. So,
absolutely.
I think it's going to be a fun party. Melissa was telling us a little bit about it, and I think it's going to be a good time. Good food, good drinks, good music.
Yeah, our families will be out there, friends. Yeah, just bring everybody. Come out. Let's have fun. Let's support our guys. Let's show them that we're still behind them. And, man, let's be a part of them turning it around and taking it out on Austin.
Yeah, and just kind of like last week, it was like we order another round to celebrate. And now we'll order another round for a totally different reason. So.
Yeah. One more.